left still, and I want to talk to you about Ramadan, the way of the companions. Any one of you who knows anything about Islam will know that the companions are the people who accompanied our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. We say alayhi salatu wasalam for those of you who may not know, to say peace and blessings upon our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So they are the companions of that man who was sent as a last messenger to complete through him the religion, to perfect the religion and to complete the favor of Allah upon all the people, and to show the way for the people from the darkness to the light and from disbelief to the true belief, because there are many people who say we are believers, but we have pillars of our belief. So anyone who does not believe in that prophet who was sent as the last prophet is not a believer in Islam. To show the way for mankind from being animals to being humans, from being slaves to one's desires to being slaves of the creator of everything. And these people were chosen by Allah, by God, to show, to help, of course, that man, alayhi salatu wasalam, and also to illustrate to us, as people who come after them, the correct way of following the two sources of Islam. They are the Quran, that has not been changed despite numerous attempts by pathetic individuals who tried to change it. And the Quran, alhamdulillah, has not been changed, because Allah said it will never be changed until the day of judgment, and when it will be taken back and it will be raised to the heavens. And the correct way of following the sunnah, the traditions of our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So these are individuals who have been chosen by Allah to assist the cause of Islam, to spread the knowledge and the light with which our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was sent, and to, like I said, to illustrate to us the best and the most correct way of following that light that was brought and implementing that guidance that was brought by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That's why in the example of Ramadan, we can see that, because we can see all the people who follow the guidance of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ correctly, according to the companions. Because the reason we have to make that third statement, because we say we must follow the Quran and the Sunnah, and we say also to follow the understanding and the practice of the companions, radiyallahu anhum, may Allah be pleased with them, because our understandings differ. So some of us may read a verse, an ayah in the Quran, and say it means this, and one other person may say it means something else. When we have that, we are told, we are not advised, we are told to go back to the understanding of those great individuals. Because if you ask the Jews who are the best people after Moses, after Musa alayhi salam, they will say the companions of Moses, those people who helped his cause, who spread his knowledge, who spread the Torah, and so on. If you ask the Christians who are the best people after Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, they will say the disciples, the people who were with him, the people who helped the cause of his call. The same we say, apart from a few weird individuals who say the worst people are the companions of the Prophet. That contradicts even common sense. So we say they are the best individuals after prophets, ﷺ, and they are the ones who have been praised in the Quran that was revealed by Allah, given to Jibreel ﷺ, and Jibreel ﷺ gave it to Muhammad ﷺ. Despite what some weird people say, he made a mistake. By mistake, meaning if you say an angel made a mistake, angels are not programmed to make mistakes. So it's like saying, you know, this computer of yours made a mistake. That means that the engineer made a mistake, not the computer. The computer does what it's programmed to do. As some of our brothers and sisters know who are attending here. So therefore, The companions are the people we must look up to, and we must understand and believe as a point of our belief that they are the most knowledgeable people of this nation of Islam. And when I say nation of Islam, I don't mean the nation of Islam that says white people are devils and they have another prophet other than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's not nation of Islam. We call it between ourselves nation of kufr, nation of disbelief. That's a group. I'm talking about nation of Islam as a group of individuals, as Muslims. This nation of Islam was told to follow the path of companions radiallahu anhum. On that matter, we don't have a choice. The same way as we don't have a choice as to what we follow, the Quran or something else. Some people may say, and I'm coming now to the main topic, why is it that we don't have a choice? Of course, we do have a choice, but if you choose to be a Muslim, you don't have a choice what to follow. You are given, just like at university, we are inside the university. If you choose a course, and I've been through university myself, they give you the books that you must read. So you can't come and say, I've got my own list of books. I'm going to read those, I don't care. Professor X said that, who cares? You know, I have my own list. You can't say that. Otherwise you might as well just look for another university, which I don't think you will find, that will allow you that kind of, you know, freedom, so-called. So that is the reason. And of course there are too many verses and ayat in the Quran and the Sunnah that tell us of the obligation to follow them. There are many. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Baqarah, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اِفْتَدَوْا. He said, if they believe, the people who come after you, and the people who claim to be believers, if they believe as you have believed, meaning the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, then they are on guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in more than 30 places told us to follow them in the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ said that this ummah, this nation of Islam will be divided. Some people don't like this hadith. It's like saying, you know, I don't like that Newcastle exists. The answer to that is it's tough, you know, it exists. Or I don't like that things are going on at Newcastle United, and we can discuss that after the talk, inshallah. Today I asked, when I was looking for the way here, I asked a gentleman, have you got already a Kevin Keegan Street? He said, not yet. Because people are going over the top with some issues that, to be honest, are trivial compared to some of the issues that we should be worried about. So, if you don't like, for example, that the nation of Islam will be divided into 73 sects, it's nothing we can do about it. It's tough. It's just the reality. Another thing that is tough, if you don't like that only one will go to Jannah, and the others may go to the hellfire. Jannah means paradise. And the Prophet ﷺ was asked, which one is the one that is going to Jannah? They didn't say, tell us all the 72 that are going to the hellfire. We might as well join them. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, which is the one going to paradise? Because they're interested in the one that's going to paradise. Some people work all their lives to get one holiday to go to somewhere they call paradise on earth. I used to have a friend from the Maldives. Any one of you who doesn't know the Maldives, just click on Google Images and go and put the Maldives. And you will know why they call it paradise on earth. Because it's over 1,000 islands. One island is slightly bigger than this hall. So they put a house for you, you have your private island. And it's nice weather and fish swimming by your feet and things like that. So they call it paradise on earth. So this guy is saving all his life to go there once for 2 weeks. Then he's again saving, maybe his children can go. What I'm saying is that paradise that will happen, it will happen, whether you like it or not, whether we like it or not, whether whoever likes it or not, it will happen. The day of judgment will happen. So we have to choose where we go. Because after judgment, there will be either paradise or hell. There will be no death. So people will stay in paradise forever. Forever. Not for a million years. Not for 30 million years. Not for 1 billion years. not for 1 trillion years. I don't know any other figures after that, otherwise I would have quoted them. Not anything those zillions of years, it's forever. Have you ever thought about that? I would encourage every one of you to think about that. To think about the notion of forever. Because sometimes we don't think about that, I think. So if you are going to be somewhere forever, you better choose the right place. And the right place, the Prophet ﷺ said, the ones who I'm upon, those people who go to paradise, who I'm upon and my companions. So that shows that to know the way of the companions, even in Ramadan, even in our prayers, even in everything, is paramount. We must know. That's why the scholars of Islam, not only did they record the traditions of the Prophet ﷺ, but they also recorded the narrations of the companions, i.e., how they fasted, how they prayed, how they understood this, how they understood. Then the people who came after them, and of course, the generations who came after them, Allah mentioned them in Surah At-Tawbah, the chapter number 9, verse number 100. He said, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ. And those who were first and foremost in embracing Islam, from two groups, the Muhajirun, those people who did the Hijrah, the flight from Mecca to Medina, and the Ansar, those people who were already in Medina, and they invited the Prophet ﷺ and the Muhajirun to join them there, so that they may be able to assist them. That's why they're called the Ansar, because they're the helpers. We have some brothers called Ansar. If they called him Nasir, would be better, because Ansar means many helpers, unless of course he's a very powerful helper. And some, of course, the problem with non-Arabs, as you may know, I'm not an Arab myself, we have the same problem. They look at a word in Arabic and they think it's okay to call a child like that. And when you talk to them, you say, Yahi, how can you call your child like that? They say, Yahi, it's in the Quran. Yahi, but the shaitan also in the Quran. You call your child shaitan? Fir'aun is in the Quran. You know, all the bad guys are in the Quran. So we don't want to call someone bad names. I have a cousin. She's called Sarmadan. Sarmadan in Arabic means abadan, forever. That's why I was talking about forever. No, not really. But forever, yani, imagine someone is called forever. Forever, come here. Someone's called never. That's the problem with people who don't speak Arabic, and I'm one of them. I'm learning. But we have to try, and the Ansar, yani the word Ansar means the helpers. So those are the people who helped the cause of Islam. And the third group mentioned in that ayah are those who followed them correctly. وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ. The reason Allah said those who followed them correctly with ihsan is because some people tried to follow them, but they followed them incorrectly. And that word is very, very important. That's why in Ramadan I will show you some things that we have to pay attention to, and how the Sahaba, how the companions radiallahu anhum used to understand that. First of all, what we must know is that we can never think of them as following anything other than the Sunnah. Just like we think about our scholars. Because when we talk to some brothers and sisters, they say, oh, you know, for example, you say we shouldn't choose one particular scholar and follow that individual because of such and such and such. But he knows the Sunnah better than me. We say, of course. But so do thousands others. Why did you choose this one? We have to understand that the companions radiallahu anhum, they used to respect the Sunnah, the way of the Messenger alayhi salam, and implement it better than anyone else. That is why we find when Abu Bakr, who is the best of the companions radiallahu anhu, he decided to collect the Quran in one book. And that came as a suggestion from Umar. And Umar radiallahu anhu said, you must do it. And Abu Bakr said to him, the first thing he said to him was, how dare you do something which the Prophet ﷺ didn't do? Then they had a discussion and so on, and Abu Bakr became convinced. Then they called Zayd ibn Thabit al-Ansari, who was very knowledgeable in the Quran, and they said, you are a young man, you have the energy to do this job, it's a big job. We want you to collect the Quran, all the verses that you know, and the ones you don't know that they are written, but they're with people in their chests, memorized. We want you to make it into one book. The first thing he said, and he's younger than them many years, how dare you do something the Prophet never did. And he's not afraid. Abu Bakr is the ruler. He can say, take him away, and he will never be seen again. But that's his duty. He says that. And that's how they used to be. That's why when we say the Sunnah is paramount, we don't mean it like because we are young people and we're going through a phase like some people think. We're going through a phase, you know, we're crazy for a while. We're saying, let's follow the Sunnah. No, this is our religion. When we say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadun Rasulullah, that is what we are signing up to. Because we are saying, no one deserves the worship except Allah. We're not saying that no one is being worshipped, like some people understand. Some people say there is no God but Allah. Yes. In Leicester we have an area, you can buy a God on your way to work and a God on your way back. We have an area in Leicester, I come from Leicester. There is a community, they worship all sorts. So there are lots of gods. But the true God is one. The one who deserves the worship is one. And the second part of the kalima, why do we forget that? Muhammadun Rasulullah. It means no one has the right to be followed 100% in everything in our religion except Muhammad alayhi salam. We can follow some other people, and we do in non-religious issues. But in religion, to take someone as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can't do that. So when we say Sunnah and when we say Sahaba, companions radiallahu anhu, and those who followed them, we have basis for that. Those who say just choose one guy, one man, one imam, one whoever, and just that one, that's why. Why are you making something that Allah made nice and easy just difficult? Out of thousands of imams you chose one. Doesn't make sense. Of course, ultimately it's because I like him, not because of anything else. Not because he was more knowledgeable of the Sunnah. He never did any research on that. He or she. The reason I'm saying it is because it has direct relationship to Ramadan. When you talk to people about, for example, one of the points I put here, number one, is to delay the suhoor. The suhoor is the pre-dawn meal that we eat for many reasons. One of them is that the Prophet ﷺ said, eat suhoor because there is barakah in it, there is blessing in it. And of course, it makes you strong to fast. You don't fast like this, waiting for iftar, because that's not good to fast like that, because you don't do anything. You exist until iftar. When iftar comes, you eat and you sleep. You struggle to get up to pray. That's many reasons. Suhoor has many things. So when you say, please, even I said to my wife, I said, why are you making suhoor so early? Early meaning almost 1 hour, 40 minutes before Fajr time starts. Let's say Fajr starts 5 o'clock. And we get up 4 o'clock to make. Unless of course you're making a massive feast and you're going to end up finishing it before 5. Then maybe, but it's not recommended because your work rate will slow down because you have a full tank. So they used to do suhoor until the people who used to eat with them used to think they're going to miss the prayer. And they used to have suhoor with the Prophet ﷺ, and they said and that shows that you can have suhoor with good people and with the scholars and righteous people, and you should do it if you can. Then they used to get up and pray. They said, how long was between your prayer and eating the suhoor, starting the suhoor, not finishing the suhoor. Even if we say finishing, they said as long as it takes one to recite 50 verses. And I counted 50 in Surah Al-Baqarah. If you look, the longest surah in the Quran, number 2, is about page 8 or page 9 or something like that. And believe me, if you read fast, you can reach page 8 in about 10-15 minutes. So 10-15 minutes between that, and they pray Jama'ah, ikhwan, not the Adhan time. And now, of course, what the reason I'm saying that's how the Sahaba used to do. And after the Prophet ﷺ died, they used to implement that because they believed that is the best guidance. Why did he used to say, alayhi salam, Khairul Huda Huda Muhammad? Saying to people who know it and they've heard it many times, the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. To give them that tarbiyah, to make them proper Muslims. Just like you take a brick and sometimes you have to put it through the fire a few times to make it a proper brick that doesn't break. It's not brittle. It's not like sand, but it's proper brick. The same way the Prophet ﷺ, he says it on Fridays. And of course we have some khutbahs where they never mention that. They never say Khairul Huda Huda Muhammad alayhi salam. That's very strange. The Prophet ﷺ says it when they come together for a wedding. Some people will say, Yaqi, we are here for a wedding. He's making us upset now. You're talking about the religion all the time, and we are here for a wedding to have a good time. And I don't know, of course, what they mean by good time, but... And he's telling them all the time, the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's what they implemented. Now we have some people, they say, just to be on the safe side, we stop half an hour before Fajr. Why? To be on what safe side? If you eat, even to the extent the Prophet ﷺ said, if one of you hears the adhan, the call to prayer for Fajr, the second one I mean, for real Fajr, and he has something, وَالْإِنَاءُ عَلَى يَدِهِ فَلَا يَدَعْهُ حَتَّى يَقْضِيَ حَاجَتَهُ مِنْهُ. Then he shouldn't put it down until he has finished with it. Doesn't mean, mashallah, I put some more. Still 5 minutes till iqamah. Not like that. No, but you already took some, not like throw and run, like fire drill. Throw everything and run for your life. Not like that. That's why if you see someone do that, you can understand they don't understand the religion of Islam. The religion of Islam is calm. Don't panic. The religion of Islam is organization. Of course, the media want to portray that the religion of Islam is everything bad. This is the new monster. That's the new thing to scare the kids with. You know. No, the religion of Islam is not like that. And we as Muslims and the non-Muslims, we have to know that. We have to show it to others. The religion of Islam, Abu Barza al-Aslami radiallahu anhu, he says, I fought 5 or 6 battles with the Prophet ﷺ, and I saw his taysir. رَأَيْتُ تَيْسِيرَهُ. I saw him making things easy for us. That's why you're surprised when people, they bring the suhoor forward. And that is not from the ease and not from... Allah said in the Quran, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah wants ease for you and He doesn't want difficulty for you. And He said that regarding fasting. And you find people now, and to be honest with you, I'm not fasting today. I'm not shy to say that. Some people would say, don't say it to people because they might be shocked. Why people should be shocked? Allah said, if you're traveling, you have a right not to fast. Once I was delivering a lecture in one city, I can't name it for many reasons. Not Newcastle, don't worry. And they said to me, it was in Ramadan and I wasn't fasting because I was traveling. And they said, I said, I need water. By the way, I need water. Please. I said like this, alhamdulillah, he did it. They said, no, we can't give you water. I said, why? They said, people are fasting. I said, it's not for people, it's for me. They said, you can't drink. I said, subhanallah, what's this? I want to drink. You want me to give a good lecture? Give me water. Otherwise I might go down slowly. They said, no. I said, okay, tayyib. It's very strange. They said, you coming a few hours from your city and now you're breaking fast? I said, yes. What's wrong with that? Some people misunderstand it. They say now, even sometimes in my family, these arguments happen. Now you have air conditioning, you have trains, planes, all the rest of it. How can you break your fast? And Allah didn't say in the Quran, if you have trains, don't break your fast. No. What did He say? If you're traveling. So I'm traveling. So we have to show, sometimes we can even break, like the Prophet ﷺ did. Imagine Ikhwan fasting all day till Asr, like this time, in the heat. They're traveling in the heat. And then the people, they find it difficult, and one of the women sends water to the Prophet ﷺ, or he asks himself, and he breaks the fasting after Asr, to show the ease of Islam. That it's not a religion that kills people, despite what the media want us to believe. Because they say, we don't criticize Islam, but it's like this. Meaning we don't criticize Islam, but we do. And of course, Islam is a religion of ease, a religion of mercy. So the Sahaba radiallahu anhu used to delay suhoor so that it's better for you and it's closer to the Sunnah. And when the time of iftar comes, the sun set, and the sunset means what? We don't have anything round here. Okay. Let's pretend this is the sun. New design. Oh, that one, okay. This is the, I didn't warn you, I need some things to show, illustrate the fasting. This is the sun. Now, this is the horizon. My hand is the horizon. The disk of the sun goes down, that's it. We can break the fast. And some people say, Yah, it's still light. So, okay, then when it's dark, like 5 o'clock is dark because there's rain clouds, we break fast. So we tied to what? Light or dark or sun? We tied to the sun. So when the sun goes down, that's it. Even if we can see the rays of the sun, which doesn't happen often, but sometimes you can see the rays of the sun. And it actually happened with the Prophet ﷺ. He said to one, and it's, you know, some narrations is Bilal, the Mu'adhin radiallahu anhu, he said to him, make some food for us. And this hadith shows, thank you, Jazakallah khair. If you give me 2, I go on until iftar. And the Sahabi said, just wait, Messenger of Allah. Still daytime. He said, get down and make food for us. And he's saying, wait. To whom? To the one whom Allah sent to show us the religion. To the point that the Prophet told him 3 times, get down and make some food for us. This hadith shows, the scholars said, that you can break fast with other than dates sometimes. And that's how they used to do. Nowadays we have 5 minutes people waiting. Some people even wait till it's dark, they say. It's to be on the safe side. The safe side is the Sunnah side. The safe side is not the side of what you think is right. And that's how they used to do. And also, if you analyze the athar of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, their narrations, you will find that in fasting, in traveling, for a traveler, they used to take the easy way. Most of them, they used to break the fast. Some of them, even Ibn Umar used to say, you can't fast when you're traveling. Of course you can. If you find it easy, you find it that you don't want to break your fast, it's up to you, it's your choice, you can fast. But they want to show the people the ease of Islam. I used to have a doctor who once asked me, he said, you know, in your religion, he said, if you have a kidney condition that doesn't allow you to fast because you have to drink, can you fast? I said, no. He said, I had an elderly gentleman, Pakistani one, who said, doesn't mean that Pakistani, I'm just saying what he said, who said, he said that you can never break the fast. I said, MashaAllah. That means you can die fasting. And Allah says, لا تقتلوا أنفسكم إن الله كان بكم رحيما. Do not kill yourselves, Allah is ever merciful towards you. And Allah said, if you're unwell, you can break the fast and compensate if you can. If not, the companion said you can feed a poor person for every day that you didn't fast. And we have people now who try to fast when they're ill. Of course, we can't do that. Maybe on the day of judgment when you come, Allah will ask you, why did you fast? And I gave you opportunity not to fast. And you don't have an answer. And the Sahaba radiallahu anhum used to do it. And they used to say even for a woman who is breastfeeding or pregnant, of course people talk in the media a lot about when some woman happens to be in the village in Saudi somewhere, something happened, it's whatever you call it, front page news on the BBC website. A woman, something happened to her in that village. Of course, what happens to women on Friday nights, no one reports. Well, they do, but not as much. Islam, a woman who is pregnant, a woman who is breastfeeding, they allowed her, the companions, the scholars of them, not to compensate, they said. Because she is pregnant, then she breastfeeds, then she is pregnant again, then she breastfeeds. When is she going to compensate? So they said she gives fidya. She feeds poor person. Does that get reported? No. Of course you can feel I have some beef against the media. And it's true. I don't like them. Because they're people who misrepresent reality. Not only here, everywhere. I come from Russia, and in Russia it's even worse. And I can't make any more comment about Russia than that, for understandable reasons. They can get you anywhere. And after iftar especially is dangerous. So we have to show, and we see from the way of the companions radiallahu anhu, the ease of the fasting. It doesn't have to be punishing. Another issue is the use of siwak or miswak, that tooth pick or tooth stick, whatever you want to call it, that we use before prayers and when the breath changes and things like that. Because we had that before a toothbrush was invented, which doesn't mean that you stop using the toothbrush. I advise you not to do that. But they allowed for the people to use that. Now we have people, they say, you can't use it in the mosque, you can't use it when you fast, meaning you can't use it ever. There are very few places and times left when you can use it. And that's why you don't see many Muslims use it. Why? Because we have different people. Some say don't use it, some say this stick only the religion of Islam, the beard only the religion of Islam. What you're wearing is only the religion. This way maybe we can reach a point when we say La ilaha illallah only is the religion of Islam and get out of Islam. Because they're trying to knock everything of Islam. Islam is all of that. You can't say, oh, this is not part of Islam. Why? Just because you don't like? Who cares? You don't like, Allah likes. The Prophet ﷺ said, Jibreel kept telling me about siwak until I thought, I feared for my teeth. To clean the teeth. And look, Islam is a religion of cleanliness. Does it get headlines? No. What gets headlines? Those people with open mouths, like dinosaur, and they're burning effigy of George Bush. That's the headline. And everyone when they see say, look at these idiots. That's what they say. And we as Muslims, we have to show it to others. That the religion of Islam is the religion of cleanliness. And to clean your teeth during fasting is permissible. Because that's how the Sahaba understood it, not how I understood it. Radiallahu anhu. Another issue, they used to say, a fasting person can be enjoying himself with water, meaning if it's very hot, and of course the body gets hotter because there is no water going in. There's no hydration. You can wash yourself and take a bath, take a shower, and so on. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu used to put his whole clothes in water, then wear them. I've tried it, it helps. Especially when it's very hot. And it makes it much easier. Al-hijama. Hijama means cupping. And cupping is very recommended in the religion of Islam. To let some bad blood out from your body. We find the scholars differed because the Prophet ﷺ said, the one who does hijama, cupping, and the one it's done to, they have broken their fast, if they do it. And then on another hadith we see, the Prophet ﷺ did it and he is fasting. So the scholars differed. Now, when the scholars differ, we go back to the companions. What did they think? How did they understand? Because they lived the life of the Sunnah. They were with the Prophet ﷺ. None of them said you can't do hijama when you're fasting, except when it makes you weak. And you fear, because blood is being taken from you, and blood is source of strength for the human being, except when you fear you will be forced to break your fast because you gave and so much blood was taken from you. And of course the same applies to when people give blood. So for example, we have issue when you give blood or something like that, they say you automatically break your fast. That's not correct. You don't, unless you fear that because of that you will be so weak that you will be forced to break your fast. Another issue is, and this I'm mentioning because it's from the religion, otherwise we feel shy to talk about these things, to kiss and to hug or otherwise touch one's wife or husband. Of course nowadays we have a total ban on that. For those of us who are married, sometimes it can be tough to fast. But the Sahaba, they used to say, like the Prophet ﷺ, if you are young or like young, some old people like young, some young people like old. That's two problems, I think. So if you are young, the Prophet ﷺ used to allow that person to kiss his wife. So young, no. The old one. And the Sahaba used to do the same. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, one man came to him and said, he was young, and said, can I kiss my wife? He said, no. And there was a man sitting, old man, saying, Ya akhi, why are you making everything haram for people? Tell them he can kiss his wife. He said, as for you, you can kiss. Because you're old. You can do anything. Of course, that it doesn't mean. But to kiss and to touch and to, these things are, we look, if the person is young, they used to allow, not to allow that individual. If the person is older and is able to control his desire or her desire, they used to allow that. And that's why Aisha radiallahu anha used to say, the Prophet ﷺ used to kiss some of his wives and used to kiss her, but he used to control his desire. Also the issue of, like I said, pregnant and breastfeeding women, you find their fatwa, their religious verdicts, to be in accordance with the principles of Islam. The same applies to kuhl for men and women. Kuhl, of course, it's called K-O-H-L. Even nowadays they sell it. It's from the Arabic word kuhl. That is very good for the eyes and is very beneficial for the eyes. It is permissible for a fasting person to use it. There is not Sahabi who said you can't use it, to my knowledge. And that's these, and you can use, they said, perfume. You can use perfume. You can use creams. They say, some people, I heard with my own ears, you can't use creams because the skin absorbs it. And do you eat with your skin? I don't know. I mean, normally we eat through the mouth. I can't do like this. Ooh, nice. I can do, but I can't drink it, I mean. So skin, you don't break the fast if you... Ibn Abbas used to say, a person can taste food even and spit it out, not swallow it. Because what breaks your fast? Tell me. Putting something on the tongue or swallowing it? Swallowing, of course. That's why when we break the fast, normally it's milk and dates. So be careful. If you want to break with dates, you better wait until it drops. Because once you start chewing the dates and you start drinking the milk, what goes quicker? The milk. That's laws of physics. So therefore, if you want to break your fast with dates, you better wait a little bit. Because what happens, I've been myself in that situation, we start eating the dates because it goes nice with milk. Cold milk is always nice. So you start drinking the milk, and the milk is what breaks your fast. It's not haram, of course. It's permissible. But if you want to get the reward of following the sunnah to break with dates, you better wait. That's why, imagine a person who is a cook. He works in a upmarket restaurant. Of course, halal restaurant. Because some people think if it's upmarket, it sells wine and champagne. And of course, that's normally how the people are. But you can have upmarket restaurant without that. You can eat well without alcohol. So this individual is fasting, and he has very tough customers for iftar. If something is wrong, they're paying just for the dessert 20 pounds. For the main course, 50 pounds. Something's wrong, he could lose his job. So he has to taste the food. So he tastes. But he doesn't swallow. That's the main thing. And how do we get that information? By looking at the guidance of the companions of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Also, after Ramadan, those of us who may have missed some days, or we were traveling, we were ill, for some reason we didn't fast. How to compensate? How to do qada? They used to say you are allowed to do separate days, because Allah said, عِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. That you can fast. If you didn't fast, you can fast other days. And He didn't say you have to fast all of them one after another. That is also mercy, rahmah. And generally I want to say, because you've been waiting for a long time, and I want to leave a little bit of time before we go to questions, if you have any. I want to generally say that the month of Ramadan, my brothers and sisters and respected guests, the month of Ramadan is a month of reflection and being alone with Allah. So use month of Ramadan wisely. Month of Ramadan is not a month for parties. Some people think that. You know, as soon as iftar time, we party and we go out and we eat and we... It's not for that. Because month of Ramadan is to be alone with Allah. Why are we told to read Quran? Because it's His speech. That's what He said to us. To read what He said. Some of you may say, I'm not an Arab, I don't know how to read Arabic. Yes, but you can learn. Some people learn Japanese and Chinese and all other difficult languages. And you can learn Arabic. So it is time for you to start, for all of us. It is time for us to maybe spend some time in i'tikaf, if it's possible, the last 10 days, for example. I'tikaf means to stay in the mosque for the purpose of worshipping Allah and for the purpose of being near Him and remember Him, by remembering Him, by reading His book. Ramadan is not for parties and to invite people for i'tikaf and to chat all night long. What do you gain from that? You can chat after Ramadan. Many people misunderstand that. And that's what we see. The companions radiallahu anhum used to do that. They used to, and those people who used to follow them, like Imam Shafi'i, Imam Malik, in Ramadan, those two great Imams would not do any lessons or read any books except the Book of Allah. It is said that Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah used to complete the Quran twice a day, which I find hard to believe, to be honest. But even if we say once in 3 days, that means that in 30 days of Ramadan, we would have read it 10 times. And not just reading like some Taraweeh. You go to some Taraweeh, it's like exercise. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You lose your count of everything. You don't even know why you're there. It's true, wallahi, ikhwan, the Quran is disrespect to the Quran to read like that. Alhamdulillah, Ameen. You wouldn't read a letter from your father like that. Dear son, you wouldn't read like that from your father. You reading Quran like that? And you think it's good and everyone is happy? Subhanallah. And they're afraid even to say anything? No, but if I read your father's letter, what are you talking about? It's my father. Yes, this is correct. You have to respect your father, but you have to respect the Book of Allah more than that. And it's disrespect to the Book of Allah to read it like that. When the person is swallowing whole book, whole words and letters of the Quran. And praying like he's being chased by someone. Why are you praying like that? Oh, my Imam told me. Your Imam told you? And Allah told you to pray nicely. So whom do you choose? Believe me, when sometimes I have to pray in those mosques, I don't feel... And sometimes you go to someone, okay, they make it long. Yeah, that's correct. And it's good to make it long if people can bear it. But if people can't bear, and sometimes it's long, you feel nice. You don't even notice the time. You see, subhanAllah, 1 hour gone. I thought it's 10 minutes. But the other one is the other way around. 10 minutes like an hour almost. Because you're being chased around the mosque. Even though you're in one place. That's incorrect. We have to understand why we are there. We're not there to break records. No. We're there to get better, to understand and to reflect, to maybe weep and cry when stories of great people are mentioned. Story of Yusuf, Joseph alayhi salam. Isn't that a beautiful story? Story of Musa alayhi salam. Story of Abraham alayhi salam. These are beautiful stories. And you're reading them like they're nothing. Isn't that disrespect? You wouldn't even tell a story about yourself like that. So therefore, we have to try and implement the spirit of the Quran and the spirit of Ramadan in this great month. And I hope inshallah we will be able to do that. I once again apologize for being late. And if you have any questions, because I have to pray, I haven't prayed unfortunately. If you have any questions, I will be able to answer them. I will be happy to do that. Yes, brother.
Sheikh, the issue with Imam Shah.
Yes.
Reciting the whole Quran 3 times, or reciting the whole Quran in a day or whatever. He said you can believe that.
It's hard to believe, I said.
It's hard to believe. I want to know the narration. Is it a student of his who narrated that, or is from his own books?
No, but whoever narrated it to complete Quran twice a day, brother. Do you know how long it takes to read the Quran? Do you know how many juz? Who can tell me? 30 parts. طيب. I will tell you now, if you read it properly, let's say if you read it fast, it takes 20 minutes. You read it fast. Let's say you can read it within 15 minutes, that's tops. I don't think anyone can read a juz quicker than that and to understand. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, anyone who finishes the Quran in less than 3 days doesn't understand it. To understand, because that's the important thing. Let's say even 10 minutes. 30 by 10 is 300 minutes. Divided by 60 is 5 hours. plus another time, 10 hours. Maybe it's possible. But it's hard to believe. That's what I said. It's hard to believe because there are other things. So I don't know the narration, but like I said, we use this narration to show how much they used to care about the Quran. Because to recite the Quran, like I said, very quickly is not good. Because you don't understand, you don't respect the speech of Allah. And just to finish it and to get the numbers, you can get the numbers and the understanding if you do it every 3 days. Because that's much easier. Now, we have a question. If you are not fasting for a valid reason and you're at work, university, is it permissible to eat, drink in front of people while everyone else knows that it's fasting month? I don't advise you to do that if you have a valid reason and the people don't know your reason. But if they do know your reason, there is nothing wrong with it. We have to get away from the situation where we have some kind of people, like I said, even everyone knows, for example, myself, I'm traveling and I can't have a sip of water. Why? They're all going to drop dead or something. If they know, if they don't. Because they're going to be surprised. But even if we see some Muslim eating in Ramadan, if we know them to be practicing Muslims, we have to assume they're practicing and they have a valid excuse. We have to be like that. Otherwise, there is no brotherhood, no sisterhood, nothing left. Just thinking evil, just having hasad. Now, just jealousy, envy. Where's the brotherhood then? So I advise you, if they don't know you, like you said, they don't know, it doesn't say here, but if they don't know that you have a valid reason, don't do it. Just to, like for example, we don't pray with shoes in the mosque because you might lose your life. Even though it's good to pray with shoes in the mosque. Even on the carpet. I mean, this is a carpet, right? We walk on it. If you want more clarification about shoes, I can talk to you later, but I'm just giving you an example. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith of Aisha, he said to her, if your people, meaning the Muslims, the people of Quraysh, were not so new in Islam, I would have destroyed the Kaaba and rebuilt it how Ibrahim built it, alayhi salam, with the door being accessible. Is the door accessible now? No. And the reason it is because it was knocked down, rebuilt with the door, and then it was again rebuilt with the door up. So we can't get in. So the Prophet, the ulama said, left something that is good and important for fear of putting them into some kind of problem. Naam. Yes, brother. Alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
You're working late and you come home like 2 o'clock in the morning, and you have to read all the qada, Salaf, and then you have to read Tarawih as well. Could you put down the amount of the Tarawih you read before the...
Why do you do qada for the obligatory? Because you can't do at work? I mean, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying the person who does it. Yani if you have work, ikhwan, brothers and sisters, it is law in this country, it's not what I want, it's law, that you have religious freedom. That means that to take 5-10 minutes for your prayer is permissible for you, and the employer has to do it and to allow you for that. If your employer is a nasty piece of work and he doesn't want to give it to you, you have 2 choices: to remain there and to threaten him with legal action, not with beatings, with legal action, or to leave and find a better job. But you can't be in a situation where you don't pray 4, 5, 3 prayers and then you come home and you pray all of them, then you cut short Tarawih. Tarawih you can pray short, of course. It's no proof to say you have to pray 11, 20, I mean the top. You can pray 3, 5, whatever is easy for you. Because it's not obligatory prayer, ikhwan, we have to understand that. Because some people come to Tarawih and they don't come to Isha. Which is ridiculous. It's better for them to come to Isha than go home, than to not come to Isha and come to Tarawih. Isha is the last prayer, of course. And if you want to get the reward for coming to Isha, don't come to Tarawih, because you don't. You missed the Isha. Because some people think, I can come last rak'ah of Tarawih, alhamdulillah, I'm okay. No. So you can do, but I don't advise you or anyone else to do qada. Naam, brother.
Okay, the comment that you made about the people that, pray fast. There's an hadith that I read of the Prophet, but now I can't remember the uslub.
Okay.
Where he said, if you're praying with Jama'ah, do not make it long, because you might have elderly people or sickness people, and I find it difficult to make a balance between your comment and the hadith.
Yeah, good point. Good point. It shows you think about things and you're looking for answers. The way we reconcile between the hadith that says not to prolong prayers and not to pray too fast is just exactly that. We don't make it too long and we don't make it too short. Yani we're in the middle. So we don't make it long but actually the point I was making was about Taraweeh, the additional prayers, not about the 5 daily prayers. Even in Taraweeh, they don't follow the Sunnah. The Sunnah in Taraweeh, a night prayer, because Taraweeh is essentially a night prayer prayed in Ramadan, is to start the first 2 rak'ah light. Tell me how many mosques do that? Light means light. It's not 10 minutes. It's not light. Light means you read the few verses, you say Allahu Akbar, then people, alhamdulillah, are ready for the next 3, 4. Number 3, number 4. That's number 1. Number 2, like I said, we have to make it not long and at the same time not short. In terms of Taraweeh, it's better to make it last third, because the salah of last third of the night, but we can't because we are weak people. We won't wake up. Imam may not wake up. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's difficult. So Umar himself, is the Khalifa of the Muslims, used to say, he used to tell them to pray at the beginning of the night and say, the one they sleep is better that time. And also another point, it's better to make it long, like I said, if people can bear it. If not, make it normal. Don't make it too short. What I'm talking about, extremes. Too long, too short. Too short is the one I'm talking about. Yani, I heard even some people, they say, 1 ayah and Allahu Akbar. One ayah. Not Ayatul Kursi or long ayah. It's like, some say, I don't know if it's true, I myself heard another ayah, but some say in Surah Al-Rahman, Mudhammatan. Some say, لماذا مدهمتان? مدهمة واحدة. Made too long, يعني. So to that extent, we went to that extent that we wanted, Allahu Akbar, we're out. يعني, it's not possible. If you come for that, have to have time at least, read nicely. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, the way he used to recite the Quran, he used to make a short surah longer than the one longer than it. What does it mean? If you have Qul Huwallahu Ahad, he used to make a little bit longer than I would normally recite, maybe some longer surah. Meaning, recite nicely. And if the Imam is enjoying it, we are enjoying it. If the Imam is running, we are running. Because the Imam sometimes is running. He's being chased. That's the point I'm making. And sometimes, if the Imam makes it too long, like some children came to me in Taraweeh, so they said, it's an Arab boy. He said, Qataluni, Qataluni. He said, they've killed me, that's it. Because that man, he made 2 rak'ah prayer 20 minutes. So each rak'ah 10. It's okay if you're like the Sahaba, but we have, now, I mean, people are barely turning up. You want them to stand 20 minutes in one, and we have children turning up, and we have. So, to be in the middle is the best way, inshallah. Naam. Naam, brother. Wa alaikum salam.